Howdy everybody, it's Bake with IronThroneCraft.com, and this video is showing some rallies in Blood Moon from the beginning of February. And this is right after Crimson Gear come out, so there will be some Crimson hits. I think those are actually going to come in the next video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the hits from somebody not using Crimson Gear and then somebody using Crimson Gear. But again, I'm not positive, but I think that's going to be the next video. What this one's showing is us clumping up as a rally team and rallying down a few people, soloing some folks. And right now, when we started out, we're down by about 50 billion points in Blood Moon. I'm not sure the exact amount. I'll be able to tell you that more in just a second. But this is just coming back in Blood Moon. And so at the moment, right now, we're losing Blood Moon, and we're losing pretty badly. We're not doing that well. But as you're going to see here, we get some big hits, get some big rallies, and get some zeros. Get to wheel down a couple targets, which is real nice. And so this is basically how to come back in Blood Moon. And by that, I mean, hey, watch us kill these people and come back in Blood Moon to make up 50 billion points and take the lead. And it was pretty exciting to do it real time and watch the points change up and everything else like that. So you see we've got a target here. And Asho has a rally set on him. So what we're doing is we're filling the rally. I don't really know why I'm not filling yet. I'm not sure what I'm topping. So what's happening here is I'm going to top the rally off. So I wait until there are 5 fillers, and then I'm going to send in, or just however many fillers we have. We see we don't have max fillers yet. So I'm waiting for the rally to get almost full, and then I'm going to top it off with the rest of the troops. The reason we do that is so that fillers can send in 650k to make sure we get as many people in as we can for the unity buff. So you see we're hitting the ace. I complete the kill event right there. And as you saw right there, we're down by about 40 billion points at this point. So the hit there, 600 million, decent hit. Scroll down, look at his stats to see what we should send on the next one because he hasn't moved. And you see he's running Mage Gear, maybe some Dark Lord there, but it looks like it's just Mage Gear and fairly low Mage Gear. I'm not sure if he took his Guard Captain off or what. But now we're going to do, you say again, and the reason he's out in the middle of nowhere, I don't really know, but we found this guy sitting out in the middle of nowhere unshielded. So we checked the report here. You see he's got mixed troops, which is pretty common with Majestic Gear, especially now with Crimson Gear being out. A lot of people are going to be switching to mixed troop setups or to siege setups, which is a little bit dangerous, as we showed in the previous video, like a month ago. But, a lot of people are doing that because they're going to be running Majestic or Dark Lord gear to try to avoid the Crimson Gear. Running single-type defense still works, but it's hard if you're going up against folks with Crimson Gear because you get so much attack along with the debuffs, and that is rough. So you see here I'm going to go ahead and top it off again. And if you notice the rest of our filler amounts, they're all between 600k and 900k. As I said, that's so we can make sure that we get the Unity buff maxed out. We want to make sure we have the Unity buff, so you always assign usually one of your bigger players, but it doesn't have to be one of your bigger players, assign them to be what we call the topper. And that just means everybody else fills the rally with 500k, 600k, something like that to make sure it's not entirely full. Once you've got your full Unity buff, then your topper go ahead and fills it up. And that's that. So now you see here I went and buffed up. I checked my auras, everything else like that, and it's because I'm going to solo now start, because I saw his stats, and I saw his stats weren't that incredible. And so I'm going to go ahead and start soloing along with the rallies in order to try to chew through some of the lower tier troops so we can get to the higher tier troops with the rallies and really hit them with the big hammer. And so that's what I'm doing here. You see Dragon Solo with Cav, speed back. I don't have any Crimson Gear at this point, I don't believe. This is from a few weeks ago. So you see I said it's solo because my solo's hitting for about 25 million troops. That's a point win. Revives are cheap in Blood Moon now, so if you're getting a point win, you should pretty much be taking the points as fast as you can. And so the reason that I am soloing here is because I'm watching this rally fill. While the rally fills, I want to be popping solos off to continue taking those troops out, because the bottom line is you never know when your target's going to shield. And the worst thing in the world is whenever you're hitting somebody and you're hitting them really good and then the shield pops up. This is like the white whale of Blood Moon, though, is finding a 120 billion guy that's obviously offline. I believe he's offline at least, but I hope he's offline. He's not just sitting here just taking these hits and not doing anything. I think we caught him offline. He might, I don't know if he went to the bathroom, went to take a shower, I don't know what. But if you're going to do that in Blood Moon, you should shield up. Otherwise, this might happen to you. So you see the rally lands, my solo lands. Solo hits a lot weaker than the rally, obviously. I go check that, and I'm looking at the details now to see what he's got. We're into his tier 6 now. So now these points, these hits are massive, massive points. And so, as you see, I keep on saying solo in Alliance chat because I'm trying to get our guys to start hitting and taking these T6. We really don't want a shield to get popped right now because we've fought through all of his meat. We're up to the good point hits now, and we want to make sure that we're not going to be losing all these points. T6, T7 gives so many points, especially when you're soloing and rallying. You see each one of those hits is killing tens of millions of T6. It's real juicy. So it really sucks whenever you have the target shield right when you get to the end. And so that's why you'll see that I'm just soloing. Apparently solo was a bad call for somebody there, as you see that they got capped, but released. There they go. And then there's the shield, and that's why I've been spamming people to solo this entire time. Because we go check it, look at it, you see he only had 13 million troops left. The catch is, though, all 13 million of those troops, just about, there were some T6 left, but nearly all of them were tier 7. So that was about to get extremely juicy. It was already juicy as we were hitting the T6, but it was about to get really, really juicy when we got into the T7. So now, you see, we're only down by 20 billion after this. So we made up 20 billion points from that one target. And we're going to go and we're going to continue looking for the next target, who, this is the next recording, this guy. And so a lot of people feel like they're safe when they're sitting in the forest, because even if they do get hit, they're only going to take one hit, right? That's the general theory, because the forest teleports you out. Well, the catch is, if you get teleported out of the forest before that, then you're going to be in trouble, because now we know where you are and we have you tracked. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to basically kamikaze into this fella. I'm going to sacrifice myself, and I'm going to solo him and port him out of the forest with my solo while we have a rally set on him. That way we can keep him tracked. So you see, I've got my heroes all set up. I'm ready to go. If he has any tier 1 or tier 2 troops, this works 99% of the time. It works every time. And so this is what I'm explaining in AC right now, is I'm saying, hey, set the rally. Once the rally's set, so we have him tracked, I'm going to solo him, boot him out of the forest, check the report, and tell him whether or not they should actually send the rally. Because if he's got real good single type, at this point we don't have enough Crimson gear in order to get through that. And you see we're down by 25 billion points in the event right now. And so now I'm just waiting for the rally to get set. All the fillers are getting their gear set. Offie's getting his gear set. Everything else like that. And that's what we're looking at. And so now there's a rally set. And apparently I haven't noticed it yet. But I'm going to go ahead and solo him out using Archer Maj. And that's kind of, attack Maj. Or if you have Crimson, obviously you want to go Crimson. But attack Maj is what I do when I'm kind of flying blind. So you see I Dragon Solo, knock him out of the forest, kill 26 million. So I'm like, all right, this is decent. Go check the report. See that I only killed 145 million power, which means that I probably hit some T2 troops there. Scroll down, look at his stats. He's running Maj gear. He's got 6k debuff, so he's got pretty high Maj gear on. And then I go and I look at the report, and yes, I did kill tier 2, and I'm glad that was there, because I probably wouldn't have burned him if it weren't, because I only killed 6 million of his tier 3. So I'm going to say send this one, and then switch to Strat Siege, as we saw in the last video. If somebody is stacked with Siege like that, you have to get them debuffed, is the catch. If you're going to hit somebody with Strat Siege, it only works if you get them debuffed. So now, because I soloed him out of the forest, he's 170 billion. Because I soloed him out of the forest, we know where he is, and now we can wheel him down, rally him down from there. If we would have just rallied him from the start, and I hadn't soloed him out, we would have gotten one hit. We would have killed tier 2 and some tier 3. Not sure how much, because he's got 6k debuff, but it wouldn't have been what it turns into, as you see here, as we're about to systematically, like a machine, zero this guy. And so, if you are trying to hit somebody in the forest, if you know they're online, sure, set a rally, send the rally, pop them with your rally. It is what it is. Get your points. But you see here, we killed 48 million siege on the first hit, and that's because we sent, I believe, archers. So now I'm saying AMM, and then you see that I've had a few beers because I misspell siege approximately 92 times in the upcoming part of this sequence here. But bottom line, if you know that your target is online and they're boosted and everything else like that, but you still want to rally them, sure, go for it. Don't do the solo knockout thing. If you think they might be offline, if they've been sitting by the capital for quite a while, which happens a lot in Blood Moon with these guys when they get cocky, like 170 billion, he's big, he's got good gear, he knows that he's going to take some decent hits, we're not going to get good points off of him. Sometimes you catch them when they, like I said, they go to the bathroom, they go to the shower, their wife needs them, their husband needs them, something else like that. You catch them offline. If they're not responsive, if they're not doing anything for quite a while, you should pop those guys out of the forest before you send that solo. I'm sorry, before you send that rally. because you want to make sure that you know where they are. As I said, if we had just rallied this guy, we would have gotten one decent hit on him, and that would have been that. But because of the solo method, knocking him out of the forest and then rallying him, that's that. You can also use like an alt alliance to set a rally on him. You can do that. If you have somebody that has an alt, you can say, hey, go set a rally on this guy. Like if you can't solo burn him, you can have somebody else or another alliance in your kingdom, something like that, set a rally on your target, hold the rally while you send yours, burn them out of the forest, get the new chords from the other people, because the rally chords will update, and that's that. So you see the rally hits for 80 million troops, and now I'm going to go ahead and go into AC and start barking it out. And you see I say wheel now. And so what the wheel is means that you're killing the strong against of your next hit. So I say set archers. Archers means that we're going to kill the infantry. Once the infantry's dead, we're going to set cav, because he's not going to have many infantry. So scroll down. I just kind of guessed archers, but you see we're already into his T6 now. It's about to get real juicy. We took out most of his siege, and we're just going to start wheeling at this point. He does have strong majestic, so soloing him would be a little bit difficult because of his 6100 debuff. So we're going to continue rallying, make sure that we have the highest amount of point spread on it. And so what you'll see here is you're just going to see me talking in Alliance chat, telling people what to send on the next one. We're sending attack Madge to make sure we get his troop defense debuffed, and then we want as much attack as possible so we can make sure we get over that 6k amount. With rallies, it's a lot easier because you have the additional stats from rally attack. So you see here, I'm taking forever to fill. As I said, I had a few beers before this, so my bad, but it worked out. So now, you see what I say there, next cav go, and that's because, as you know, the archers are going to take out the infantry. And so, like I said, I'm just going to be barking out the wheel. And whenever you have somebody offline, you want to make sure all of you, everybody that's filling the rally, is looking at the reports, looking at the stats, seeing everything else like that. You see my solo there didn't go as I had planned. I lost. So now, I was trying, basically after every single rally, if we're into their tier 6 and tier 7, I'm going to try a solo, because if it works, I'm up big on points. If it doesn't, I'm probably pretty even. And as you know, some of your bigger players can try that as well, because you can soften them up with a rally, take out a lot of the strong against, and then send a solo to do it. So now you see here we're just we're wheeling it out, and that's the bottom line, is that we're wheeling it out. So I think archers got set here. I'm going to fill 650k to make sure we get all the unity buffs in. And as you can see now, the fills are happening a whole lot faster because of the fact that we're zeroing a very large target. This guy was 180 billion, I think. And you see my hero still just sitting there in prison, and so I'm just going to sit here and wait for this rally to go off. And I think we're waiting for it to get topped here. And that's that. So whenever you have a really big target, and this is going to start coming into play a whole lot more now with Crimson Gear being out, with people being split troops, with people being siege. Siege, it doesn't come into play at all. But there's going to be a lot more people with split troops running Majestic gear, Dark Lord gear, and everything else like that. And you want to be really familiar with reading reports, with seeing what troops are remaining, and adjusting what you're sending your next hit based off of that. And once you get good at it, you don't even have to look at the report anymore. You know how the previous one's going to go, and you see here, fast like a machine, do it. And that's what I'm trying to say, is basically we know what the wheel is. We know what our next hit should be. Shouldn't take a long time. Once you get moving, you start setting these rallies, set it, fill it, pop it off, next type, set it, fill it, pop it off, next type, and everybody should know what's going on. On the rally screen, it will show you what type troops they're sending. If you look, you see infantry there. It'll show you next to everybody else. So I've set to infantry, 650k. I'm sending regular troops. Strat would hit harder in this situation, but you see that's that. So in this situation, I should have been sending strat troops, but keep on getting distracted. What I'm getting at is with the release of Crimson Gear, you're going to see a lot more split type targets that are very large, that are burnable, because if you're wearing Majestic gear, you're pretty much burnable, but if they send the right stuff. That's the bottom line. But a lot of times they'll have enough troops, as we showed in our last video, with troop defense being a big deal, they're going to have enough troops that you're going to have to chew through all of them, because Majestic gear is good for reducing your losses, and it means that a lot of times you'll have a reduction in losses. It'll take a lot more hits to get through somebody. It's not like single type gear. If somebody is single type defense, if they get hit by the off type and get debuffed, they get massively exploded. That's just how it is. They get blown up. Majestic, if you're wearing Majestic, doesn't work that way. You see the solos are working now, on a side note. Majestic gear doesn't work that way. It's got enough debuff that even if you get hit by somebody, if you have enough troops, that's a big deal. If you have enough troops and you have some troop defense left over, which a lot of times you won't with Majestic, which is rough. But because of the debuff, they're usually not going to just absolutely obliterate you, especially if you're up over 6100 debuff like this guy. They're not going to zero you out, which means that as an attacker, you want to check those reports, check what troop types they have, and send the appropriate type. So you see now I've captured a hero. He's zeroed, and that's that. So 0 to 120 bill and 170 bill, and surprise, surprise, you come back in Blood Moon, and that's how it's done. And you check it. Now he's down quite a bit of power, but you check those reports. Look what you got. See, we're in the lead now by 7 billion, and that is how you make a big comeback in Blood Moon. Is you find these guys that think they're safe, rally them, make sure that you can hit them multiple times, check the reports, hit them, points positive, get it done. Thanks for watching. Expect a video with Crimson gear. I'm going to show you what a normal and Majestic gear hit looks like, and then a Crimson gear. Thanks for watching, everybody.